breeze caress our skin when we begin to flow.
Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope you've been enjoying our basic cookie techniques video. Today I said, you know what, let's take a break. Let's not make it about education today, but I'm still going to be educating you on a new recipe. Today we're going to be making what I call Crusty Artisan bread. It's one of those breads that just works well. It looks like sourdough. I don't even know what sourdough bread is. And since I do not have the patience, not that I do not have the patience, I'm still like trying to get, figure out our temperature here and how to make a starter for a sourdough bread. That takes so much time. I decided to share one of my favorite bread recipes that I use for sandwiches. And since I was craving a good sandwich, I said, let me make my own bread and take you along the journey with me. This is, like as usual, going to be educative. So even if I said, oh, it's not an educational class, everything here is educative. It's either I'm ranting my voice out or I'm teaching you how to make different recipes and also explaining the steps behind each recipe. So before we go ahead, if you haven't subscribed to my page, please do subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell so that you get notified anytime I share any video, whether it's a vlog or it's a recipe or it's just me acting like a teacher and teaching you one or two things about the culinary world, especially if you are a professional cook or you're home and you just want to destroy them with your new skills. So this is the page, this is the channel for you. I hope you become part of our community. It's growing every day. Shout out to everybody who subscribed. Shout out to everybody who keeps sharing my page. I have so much love for you. And then let's go into our recipe. So what we're making today, you need a few certain things. It's a very simple bread recipe. You do not need a stand mixer. All you need is your bowl and a spatula. And you don't need any complicated ingredients. We're only using 4 simple ingredients for this: bread flour, and if you don't have bread flour, you can use all-purpose flour. I have some bread flour. It's a bit pricey to buy bread flour, but they make the most amazing breads because they are high in protein. All that gluten just makes your bread so tasty. So that's why I really can't do gluten-free products, because that's just basically tasteless dough. So the more gluten in bread flour, the more tasty it becomes. It rises, it has structure, it has texture. It's really good. So this recipe, you need only 4 ingredients. Like I said, bread flour. If you don't have bread flour, you can use your all-purpose flour. You need water, warm water, not hot water, but we're not like necessarily room temperature, just slightly above room temperature. You need some good yeast. Make sure your yeast is active, and you need some sea salt or some kosher salt. If you do not have any of those, you can use table salt, but this recipe works well with sea salt. And all we are going to do that is put that in a bowl, mix it for a few minutes. It doesn't take time. Put it together. It's kind of like a wet dough though. You have to be prepared for that. It's a bit wet, it's a bit sticky, but just follow me on this journey. Watch the video. I have the demo video coming up after this, and then you see the process and how to maneuver the dough as well. Another thing you'll be needing is an oven. Make sure you have a good working oven. In my intro to baking video, I was talking about how to check your temperature and make sure and I was speaking on the importance of knowing how well your oven runs. So you need a good oven for this. If you don't have a good oven, in fact, I won't say if you don't have a good oven, whatever oven you have can work. Before I changed to this, I had one that used to burn things, but I found my way around it and I was still making baked recipes from it. So just find out, just know your oven a lot better. So just make sure you have an oven. Another thing you're going to need is this. We are going to be using a Dutch oven or a cast iron pot. I got this one from Radiance. It's great to have the imported cast iron, but I think this is also a great product, and all my cast iron products are from Radiance. She's an amazing lady. I love her. So I think she has an Instagram page. She has a YouTube page where she shares recipe and how to take care of your pots, because if you take care of these pots, your generation on top generation will still be using it. It's a bit pricey, but yeah, it's one of those things that have value, like your designer bags. It's your designer pots. So we're using a Dutch oven. So if you don't have a Dutch oven, another thing you probably need is like 2 baking pans. 1 baking pan for you one baking pan for you to put your bread in, and another baking pan, just a smaller one, to add in the oven. Okay, let me explain to you what the Dutch oven does. The Dutch oven, we're going to place it in the oven, preheat it while we are preheat it at least 30 minutes before our bread is ready, and we're going to put our bread inside and we're going to cover it. The whole idea is to create a steaming effect that actually lets the bread rise even more while it's inside. So if you don't have a Dutch oven or a cast iron pan, get two baking things and preheat one of the baking things, the one the bread is going to enter in the oven. So when you add the bread, when you put the bread, the other small pan, like before you put it, you boil water in a kettle. So what you do is the other second pan that is in the oven, just put a bit of hot water inside there, so it creates that steam effect inside the oven that would still allow the bread to rise. Don't put too much water, just a little water. And in the process of the Dutch oven, we bake it covered, and then we open it to allow the bread to brown. So just use the same method. When it's time for you to open it to allow the bread to brown, take out the pan with the water and just allow the bread to do what it's supposed to do. That's if you do not have a Dutch oven pan. And I think that's all you need. So let's just go ahead and mix our ingredients. This bread recipe can be ready in 2 hours, but if you want a more tastier bread, you can leave it in the fridge overnight or at least 8 hours. And when you bake it, it's going to have more texture, more flavor. The flavor is going to be more dope, but that doesn't mean it wouldn't work in 2 hours. So because this is Nigeria and we have NEPA issues, I'm going to be hitting for the 2 hours mark. And as soon as we get to the 2 hours mark, I'll be right here to show you how to bake it. And also we'll wait for it to cool down, and then we'll make some yummy sandwiches. Okay, I might not be making the sandwiches in this video, but I will have a recipe on my Instagram. Here it's just about making the bread. Whatever you want to use the bread for, feel free. You can have it with some nice butter, some nice compound butter, but I wanted to make some sandwiches for my Instagram reels, and I decided to film the recipe for the bread and the recipe for the sandwiches. When it's up, I'll come and let you guys know in the caption. So let's do this. So first we're going to start with our flour, our sea salt, our yeast, and we're going to mix that all together. Pour in your water gradually till you fully incorporate your water into the dough. Mix that thoroughly. You don't need a lot of time. In a minute or two, you're done mixing your dough. Scrape that together, and now I'm going to allow this proof for at least 2 to 3 hours. And like I said in the explanation before, if you want a better texture, better taste, you can let this proof overnight in your fridge, or at least 8 hours. Turn on your oven to 230 degrees and preheat your Dutch oven pan. While this is going on, already make sure that your dough is out of the fridge if you left it overnight, to allow it come back to room temperature. What you're gonna do next is prep your dough for baking. Floor your workstation, pour out your dough. It's gonna be wet, it's gonna be sticky. If you have a dough scraper, it makes it easier. Just do this about 6 or 3 times, just kind of like getting it into a circle. It doesn't have to be a perfect circle. It's an artisan bread. The more, out of shape it looks, I feel like it looks better. It looks, it has character. So put that on your parchment paper. So this is an easy recipe, not a lot of fuss, not a lot of stress, and just get into a nice shape. Get your pot out of the oven. Be careful, this is very hot. See how that pot is smoking. Drop in your bread inside, just arrange it properly. Cover your pot, put it in the oven, bake it for at least 30 minutes. 30 minutes, yes, bake it for 30 minutes. After 30 minutes you bring it out. This is what's going to look like, but we're going to leave it open. Put it back in the oven for another maybe 10 to 12 minutes or till it browns. I did for longer because I love this color. Take a look at that. Hi guys, I hope you enjoyed that video, and I hope you enjoyed that bread. See how beautiful it looked. Oh my god, I'm going to be making sandwiches upon sandwiches and maybe 1 or 2 French toasts with it. It's my bread. I'll do what I want with it, as I hope I don't end up eating the whole thing with butter, especially since I'm on a diet. But once in a while, at all, not any bad pass. It won't kill me if I eat like the whole loaf of bread. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys next week when I share another recipe and we chat a little bit more. than we did today. But thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. I appreciate you guys, and I hope to see you next week. Peace out.